FGM, or as the acronym stands for, female genital mutilation. In fact, hands up if anyone knows what it stands for. Does anyone want to quickly run on stage and tell us? Yes, no, maybe? Oh wait, it's cool, I've got all day. No, I'm joking. Female genital mutilation is it's a process often carried out in many African countries whereby it's a partial or total removal of the external part of a female's genitalia, and it's often done involuntarily, if not always done involuntarily, in often unsanitary conditions. And so what I wanted to do is I wanted to express this in a way which I knew best, which was poetry. So what I want everyone to do in the room right now is close their eyes. Everybody, I'm watching. I want you to imagine a young girl, let's say she's 5'2", chestnut skin smooth with a smile to light up the room, but her eyes told the truth. I see an angel in you, but your wings are missing. And I've asked, but you'd spare me details of what you've been through now. We've been friends more than a minute, but I could never quite envision where the deep-set barrenness of your stare has stemmed. Elephants never forget, and tonight, it's not just me and you, there's an elephant in the room. Its story goes back centuries. It's walked the planet and sailed in over 28 African countries. It's old and grey and represents over 6,000 girls a day. This elephant has the heart of a lion but feels nothing. It was promised Zion, but its happiness was cut. No, literally, its happiness was cut. Tonight, it's not just me and you. There's an elephant in the room. And so she slowly spoke the story of the elephant before me. As a child, she sits eyes wide on a flight back to the motherland as she grips her mother's hand, because right now, the only fear she knows is falling from a height. The only pain she feels is from the turbulent and sleepless night. She thought it was just a holiday, so had nothing to say when the family came to the decision it was time for circumcision. From the skies, the lights looked pretty. In the sky, she left the city to a place where the roads were gritty. The only stories the buildings had belonged to the people that lived in them. The front yards were animal-ridden. The little boys stayed out playing chase-outs while the little girls stayed in, they were baking. It was far from her idea of vacation, but it was too late when she came to the realization. She laid next to the table with razors and a scalpel. They said terror is weakness, so she holds her mouth full, because crying and screaming would be her downfall. There's no room to see, no room to breathe as she's held down by arms she'd never seen in her life. No room to see, no room to breathe as one barely cleanses the end of a knife. Imagine the sensation of 1,000 burning suns infest your body, and you look around for someone to save you, but everyone you turn to is part of the issue. Imagine being sewn up as if it was all just an accident. Imagine the shame if she didn't allow herself to go through this pain. I said, tonight, it's not just me and you. There's an elephant in the room. And so she laid next to the table with razors and a scalpel shaking because the elephant had just trampled. The blood felt cold on her naked back. She'd lost her womanhood, but at least her alignment with her culture was intact. 20 years later, she's 5'2", chestnut skin smooth, with a smile to light up the room, but her eyes told the truth. And I look into your eyes deeper than the craters on Mars. This creator of ours has made a masterpiece. Your scars are like art, each a careful stroke of Michelangelo. You're my Sistine Chapel ceiling. That's the only way to describe this feeling of history from your fingertips, a sculptural creation, but there's beauty in the roughness in your edges. They say that Rome wasn't built in a day, and your incompletion is what completes me. Your void gives me a purpose to make you whole again, give you a soul again. And I see your pain, I see memories through the blemishes of our relationship. I see memories through the blemishes of our relationship, and if I was to be here today, I'll be here with you. Speaks. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. I promise that not all of my pieces are depressing. Some of them are light-hearted, but I feel like I have a responsibility as someone who does go around speaking in stages like this and others similar to kind of, like Ada said, tell the stories of a generation. I have a responsibility to put experiences not just of myself, but of my friends into my art, because that's the only way that we're heard. Am I right? Cool. We're going to get into my next piece. July this year, I spoke at TEDx London, my very first TED Talk. It's all right, you can clap, it's fine. My very first TED Talk, and something that I'd describe as potentially, in fact, completely the most phenomenal experience I've ever had. And I'm going to share with you guys one of the pieces from the talk. Is that cool? Are you sure? Some of you don't know that way. Is that cool? Around the world manifests the wrecking ball. And at a point in every boy's life, this ball drops and he faces a testicle. Test they call manhood. The first time he hears be a man, this mandatory mandate, be a man, they say no excuses, boy, you got to manage life with a firm hand and an iron fist. Raise your chin and separate your heart from your head. Disconnect all emotions until you fail to see that you're broken. Boys don't cry, so from this point onwards, we learn to hold them inside. Who knew man up could weigh a man down, so we've lost the true definition of a man now. It's an inherent blindness where we forget that the only unbreakable code is kindness. Being mankind. The real value of a man rides on how much you can love, how much you can be loved. I'm not asking you to change who you are, just be who you are. Don't be afraid to look in the mirror and see who you are. Masculinity begins with a mask that's prevalent. Take it off, remove the lie, and let unity take precedence. Thank you. Thank you. Enjoying it so far? How long have you guys been here? I just came. I'm so sorry. I'm very late. But yeah, good day so far? Fantastic stuff. I know I'm kind of short for time. I was told I have 5 minutes. I'm taking about 8. I was late as well. This is just rude of me, isn't it? Sorry, I'm not a rude person. I'm a nice guy, really. You can come and say, have a chat with me after. I'm a nice guy, I promise. But I got one more piece to share with you guys. Is that cool? Yeah, cool. Let's run the next one, DJ. Talking like it's a rave. It's not. See, sometimes your ability to open a jar is not defined by how strong you are. There's this small thing called friction, and it acts as a resistance, so you could use all your might, and your hand slip and slide, and it might not ever open. Or you could use a cloth, avoid the huff and puff, and the lid comes off. See, there's more than one way to skin a cat. I ain't lying when I say hunger isn't just from your stomach, it stems from where your heart is at. My friend Nigo said practice shouldn't make perfect. So when you're on stage, sitting in the examination room or halfway through an interview and you find that it isn't going quite how you rehearsed it and you start to feel worthless, that's when it should buy that hunger. Swallow your pride so you can hold on that little bit longer. Dissolve the glass ceiling that's above you so you can make it through legit and show them you're the shit, And if you ask me how often I thought about what tomorrow holds, Lord knows I would say yesterday, that's yesterday, and yes, today. Yeah, I know my pieces are starting to sound the same, but my impatience is a virtue. I urge you to put first what concerns you. Looking back to when Nigo had to give me money for studio, he said, you'll make it back, bro, you'll grow. One open mic and straight to paid shows. I'm not trying to boast, but I suppose that shows. Take notes because circumstance can quickly change. I didn't dream about this, I just woke up and got out of bed that I made myself. I don't do this for views, this is how I save myself. When the SU at Essex University said that I should perform, but pay my own entry, I didn't let my ego trick me, because it's more than now, it's about a legacy. I'm more in love with the word play than when the words pay. I said, let me explain, I'm a wordsmith. So when I say there's a will, there's a way. Please focus on what I'm trying to say. We're all in this pursuit of happiness, and I won't stop until I am legend. So after earth is nothing but a memory to your soul. Ask yourselves what seeds you would have sown. I could have easily sold myself to the rose, but instead I rose and continued to blossom. Because I got way too much hunger to eat from the bottom. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been Emmanuel Speaks. Thank you very much for having me.